So welcome to the October 19th, 2023 regular meeting of the Human Services Advisory Board. I'm calling this meeting to order at 6:02 p.m. Thank you all for attending. We're going to do a roll call for the record of board member attendance. Yancy Arevalo. I did see her outside, so she might be just taking some time to come in, but for now she's absent. Clayton Carla.
Here.
Sharif Cassis, I am here. Monica Gonzalez. Okay. Joanne Parsons.
Here.
Gloria Quinn. And Gloria is there, but she's on mute. And then Courtney Welch, she is there. Okay, perfect. And Mariana Zamora.
Present.
Okay, perfect. So we do have more than 4 members present of the 7 voting members, so we do have a quorum for tonight. Next, we're going to move to citizen comment period. Staff, is anyone present online, in person, or in the phone to speak during the citizens comment period?
Okay, so Giselle, did you want to speak during the citizen comment period?
I am just observing Chelsea, which I believe she might be joining in. I'm not too sure. I'm just observing her for Girls Empowerment Network today.
Great, okay, yeah, she has joined, so I'll put you back on mute. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so it looks like we don't have any citizens comments. Minutes, item number 4 minutes have not yet been created for the HSAB meetings. And will be discussed under item 7 tonight. For the action items, we're going to move to the presentations. So we're now receiving a 5-minute presentation by each applicant agency for the program that was listed on this evening's agenda. Each agency will receive a 30-second warning as the 5 minutes are about to expire, but the time of it is a little bit flexible. Each presentation is going to be followed by a 10-minute question and answer period between the board members and the agency regarding the program and the application. Members of the public are welcome to listen to the presentation, but will not take part in the discussion or the question and answer period. Each program will receive 15 minutes total for presentation and question and answers, also a little bit flexible. If I'm a voting member, I'm going to devote my attention to the presentations and discussions. So staff will introduce the presenters and keep track of time, okay? So Carol, the floor is yours.
Okay, and our first presenter tonight is finishing up a presentation, Southside for Specific Assistance, and I believe Deborah is here to present. Yes. So last session we had, she presented, but we did not have a quorum for her to continue into the question and answer session. So we will just plunge right into the question and answer session for Southside's Specific Assistance Program. So board members, feel free to ask questions.
All right, I just have one clarifying question. You had requested funding for 3 programs before. Is it fair and accurate to say you're just rolling it into one program that's being requested for funding this year?
Correct.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hi, of those programs that you had, can you tell me the consolidation of them? Is that just something easier on bookkeeping, or was it that they all kind of fed into one another?
They kind of all fed into one another.
Okay, so like was a natural progression of this.
Correct.
Just makes more sense. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Do you want to
Especially
give
now-
us?
Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, do you want to give us just a brief overview, like a 1-minute pitch about the Southside Clinic? Just to
Sure.
refresh
every-
my memory at
Of all our,
least.
sure, of all our services that we provide?
Whatever you want to say.
Sure. So right now, we actually just started in July. We implemented case management. So that is something new. We still have our transitional housing. It's been 90 days is the max that they are allowed, and it's in a 30-day increments. So once they meet with the case manager, they meet every 2 weeks and they set their goals, SMART goals, and if they're achieving them and fulfilling them and continuing to grow, then we will extend it. They'll file for an extension for another 30 days. Same process.
Okay.
They'll continue through that.
Okay.
We do course, feeding, the donation, clothing,
Uh-huh.
specific assistance, rental assistance. We do, if we have the funding, we also put them up in hotels for emergency stays.
So is the 90 days, so is that basically, hey, you have 90 days to get your life in the right direction, and then you guys do a follow-up care with like
Correct.
helping find rental assistance?
Correct.
Is there any chance that you guys have looked into Salt Lake City or followed their model? Because
No.
they have a very similar, I mean, their whole thing is to eradicate homelessness, is to give them a home. But it has very much the same model
The
of
same
smart. Yeah,
concept.
like you have to meet certain milestones, but it doesn't just stop there. And
Mhm.
I
What's
didn't know
the-
it. I don't know the name of it, but it is in
Okay.
Salt Lake City. And I think like Jimmy Kimmel, if you look up like Jimmy Kimmel, like how to solve homelessness, I'm sure it will pop up.
Okay.
He made a joke about it because he was like, oh yeah, whatever. That's how you end homelessness. You give them a house. Like,
You can,
like that's
pretty simple.
it's really, really simple. But anyway, I don't want to take the whole question time. I appreciate you recapping, because not all,
Right,
lapses in my
a lot has-
synapses.
Yeah, a lot has happened in a
Okay.
week,
Thank you so much.
but thank you so much. I will look into it.
Okay.
I had another clarifying question. On the front page of the application versus like the typed numbered responses, I noticed there was a difference. The front page of the application says 70,000 and in the written responses it says 80. What is the actual number for the request?
We were requesting 80, the 80,000. 70, I believe, was what at first we were going for, and the board just said, just go ahead and request the 80. So that was my
Okay,
limit. Yes.
thank you.
Any other questions or anything for Southside community? Okay, well, thank you very much for your time. We're gonna go ahead and move on.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. And the next one is Jennifer Vogel. So she's here in person to present. This is the speaker, so depends on how loud you are. You can
I'm
always
actually pretty
move
loud.
up.
Can you
Okay,
hear me? Can y'all hear me on the? Yeah,
okay.
okay, all right. Thank you for letting me present. Our follow-up program for the San Marcos School District's teen parenting program, post-pandemic. We are really dealing with a population of kids that have always been at risk, but they've continued to experience a tremendous amount of trauma and associated with post-COVID. A lot of them did not return very successfully from COVID. They've had socialization and isolation. So they've been really transitioning with difficult challenges. And they also now have a child with them. We were experiencing about 23 to 25% involved in CPS services. For the last 2 years, 48% of our families are in CPS services. So we've seen a huge increase. The other increase we've seen is a tremendous amount of students that are no longer living with their biological family. We're at about 45% now are considered McKinney-Vento, which is the homeless status. Basically, they don't spend any 30 days in any one location. We normally saw about 17%, less than 20%. So we've seen some huge numbers. We also have seen from child development perspective, where we were averaging about 5% involved in early childhood intervention services. We now are close to 20% early childhood intervention services. And what we're seeing is extreme, not just speech. We normally just saw speech kind of things, extreme autisms, extreme behavioral issues. And so as we try to transition these kids either back to an educational setting if they've dropped out or if they have graduated, we work with them to find a work plan or a certification program that we do a lot with trying to figure out financial and how not to get into debt, especially for these for-profit educational programs that really take a lot from our students and their families. So we have an intern and we have we have one social worker, Ashley Cook, and 2 interns per semester. And they serve about 180 kids a year, either dropped out or graduated. And we serve them for at least a year, if not longer. If their services, they each get an individual plan. We work on what those plans may be. And we bring in all kinds of speakers and other partners that really help us with those services. We're very tied to Any Baby Can. We're tied to Wayfinders Church. We're tied to the First Methodist Church. And so we've got a lot of resources going on. We access public housing. And some of our differences, like we're serving about 180 teens a year, but approximately 50 are from the Guadalupe County region, but they really are San Marcos citizens. But Guadalupe County United Way is giving us $6,000 for those 50 students that we are doing. Even though they are really San Marcos School District students and citizens of San Marcos. They live out in the Redwood Rancho Vista area, and as you are probably well aware, that's a community that's very has lots of needs. So can I answer any questions or anything?
Yeah. I had a question. First off, I want to thank you for being transparent and also transparent about the 50 Guadalupe students that fall under the 180 teens in San Marcos, and the funding that you went out and received. You did say that 48% of your students are in CPS custody or are involved with CPS.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
was it like prior to COVID, and how has that affected you cost-wise?
So it was about 20%, anywhere from 19 to 23% over the last 20 years prior to COVID. It's a tremendous cost. It's a lot of time involvement. When you're talking about families that are working with CPS services, you're looking at to deal with a lot of follow-up. And we also teach parenting classes, and we bring in parenting classes. We also have a partnership with Texas State University, who's doing strengthening relationships and strengthening families. And so we'll bring in partners of students that are there. They also will even work with a student that may have just recently dropped out or graduated while we try to transition, and then maybe finishing up that SRSF program. So we have a lot of services going on, trying to help give them the supports to make some real life changes for them.
So when does this is my last question, when does the life cycle stop? At what point do they age out?
So we stop officially at 12 months after post leaving, whether you dropped out or you graduated. However, we will continue to serve several key students if they especially had diagnoses that were on the spectrum or in special ed services. They sometimes have gone on for 5 or 6 years, but they really need that kind of support.
Okay, so it's specialized. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. I appreciate you.
I think one other component that I always like to talk about, and that is our district's, our program works on the sexual health education for the district. And the national average is 68% repeat pregnancy rate. And in 2004, we worked hard and developed a plan to try to reduce that rate. And we've been very successful at being less than 1% every year, except in 2014, when the federal government, our Texas government cut funding for birth control. And therefore, in that 1 year, we saw an increase of up to 50% repeat pregnancy. So we can
that's a huge number. It's a huge.
It is.
That's a whole other topic, because that's a whole we could get. I'm gonna leave it at that, because I'd like to know how Roe v. Wade affected pregnancy rates, but that's a conversation for a different day. So someone else ask a question.
Okay, Clayton, you've got your hand up.
Yeah, I just appreciate all how you laid out your evaluation criteria. My question based on that is, what percentage of the identified population have y'all successfully contacted in recent years?
We've been doing about 80%. We were striving for 70%, but we really work harder than that. We want that, and we have a lot of incentive. That relationship that they have with our social worker and her team is really impactful. We know it's about relationships, and so it's made a huge impact for us. So we've been fairly successful. Once we kind of get them into the follow program, they stay and follow through. But it's the first initial part. We lose them in the first 3 months, then it's difficult to get them. Some of the losses, though, relate to they may have gone on to San Antonio or Austin. So we do track that too. So it's not necessarily just that they have disappeared completely, but they have lost completely out of our geographical area.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Looks like Gloria's thinking.
So they've dropped out of school?
Some of them are dropout. Okay, so before the pandemic, we were at about a 40% dropout rate in San Marcos.
40% dropout rate from school if they're pregnant.
Yes. But they also have really kind of changed that criteria right now. We're in a really weird status in Texas in education because they're really now claiming to be homeschooling, and because Texas has no follow-up, we're identifying more dropouts than the school district is really identifying because we know they're not doing a homeschool program.
No.
The state of Texas doesn't have to claim it if they're in homeschooling. They don't have to be tracked.
Okay. All right. What percentage of San Marcos is pregnant at any one point in high school? Did I miss that number?
Let's just make sure that we understand, a pregnancy isn't just one person. There's also a biological father too. So we can't have both.
Yeah, right. Okay. I'm sure he's there for her.
So we're around 10 to 12% of the high school population, but that doesn't mean just high school. There will be middle school children too.
Oh God. Okay. 10 to 12%.
Yes, anywhere between 10 and 12%.
Okay.
So it's around 200 kids, male and females.
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
We're a Title I district. We serve 73% free or reduced students, and so that is very indicative of what kind of population we're working with a lot.
Okay.
Generational poverty in our community is very alive and well.
No, yeah, everywhere. It's not just
Yes.
here. It's
Yes,
everywhere.
true that.
Yeah, no. And Texas was paying for some kind of birth control?
Texas pays for birth control through the Medicaid program, and they also give free birth control through the family planning clinics, not the ones that do abortions. We don't have those here in San Marcos. But in 2014, Texas cut all funding for birth control. Cut it.
And I bet they're not giving sex education either.
We're working hard on it in San Marcos. We are doing it hard in San Marcos.
Really?
And then
So it's not just about abstinence. That's it. Abstinence.
we're
In
in
between. Go for it or abstinence.
Yeah, we're an abstinence plus here in San Marcos. But the reason we were able to cut our pregnancy rate in teen parenting is our social worker has a process in which she works with them immediately. As soon as they come into the program, within the first or second visit, then they have monthly or more visits. They start discussing birth control. What are they going to do after the baby is born so that we can start to prepare that kind of conversation. And it has been very dramatic in its success.
Okay. And what did you say happened in 2014? Texas cut what?
All the funding for public birth control, free birth control in Texas was cut out. And it only went 1 year, and they did an emergency change to as soon as they saw all the birth increase.
That doesn't make any sense. I don't understand.
It does.
But that's political. I mean, why would somebody cut birth control And what scared them was the pregnancy rate, you know. Is that what I hear you saying?
Yeah.
Is that what I hear you saying?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Well, let's move on. I can't.
I was gonna say bringing it back on hand to 2023 instead of 2014. I did notice the drop in funding from 2022 to 2023. Did you guys request less, or was there just less given?
It was just less given. We've been requesting 15,000.
And how did that drop affect, in general, what you're trying to do?
Well, it takes some time off. I mean, we don't get funding for interns during the summer, and then we're running, instead of a team of 3 interns, we're running 2, because we offer our interns a stipend process so they can have a little bit of a incentive to work. And it is a full-time position. So most internships are from the Department of Social Work, and they are a 40-hour internship. So it's pretty hefty commitment for that master level social work.
For the clarification. Any other questions?
We still have a couple of minutes if anybody else has something. Okay.
Okay, we should be good then.
We
Thank
will
you.
keep going. Thank you very much. You're welcome to leave. When you go out the door, just make sure it's still propped open. Yeah, leave our fancy prop.
Okay, thank y'all.
Thank you. Jen.
Okay. All right, I need to check on our attendees. Here we go, another one. Okay. Okay, so our next presenter is for the Boys and Girls Club, Texas Preparatory School, San Marcos, and the presenter is Elton Fight. I know he was on earlier. He'll just need to just turn on your video. Yeah, there you go.
All right. How's everybody doing this evening? Great to see everyone. Glad everybody's in the house. Hope everybody's feeling well. All right. I'm here to represent the Boys and Girls Clubs of South Central Texas. We are an organization that's been in existence ever since 1994. And that's a big feat, of course, in any range of business, to be blessed to be able to say that you're 25 plus years in existence and still kicking and still doing it. We're extremely excited to be back in front of the Human Services Advisory Board to present our program, one in which, you know, we've grown in the city of San Marcos since 1994. And so what our ambitions are is to basically continue to do our program the best way that we know how, in the way of establishing academic success in youth from ages kindergarten all the way up through 6th grade. Every academic year, as the Boys and Girls Clubs of South Central Texas, of course, our after-school programs and out-of-school time programs identify areas of weakness, if you will, for students. We do this in various ways. We have partnerships with Sylvan Learning Center, as well as partnerships with the Texas Alliance of Boys and Girls Clubs, which provide various platforms for academic retention, tutoring, and remediation. And so what our goal is to work with 200 plus youth in the city of San Marcos to assist them in bridging the gaps of their academics through our after school programs, and even extending in through the summer. Throughout the school year, after school, we provide a program called Power Hour, which is a tutoring-based program that assists students with homework, and as well as, of course, getting them caught up in the areas of reading and math. Power Hour is a great program in that it establishes incentives that all the kids want, right? So, you know, kids love Funko Pops, and they love, stickers still. Candy, of course, and then, of course, Doritos, Cheetos, and Takis, right? And so our Power Hour program is incentive-based, and it gives students, of course, rewards for staying true to the game in regards to completing their homework, turning in, their homework badges and things of that nature. Of course, these items are kept track of via teacher signature. Right, that's the old school way, right? A student must bring their signed paper back to the Boys and Girls Club in order to receive their points, ultimately to get their rewards and things that they're vying for. And of course, with Power Hour, the great thing that we have, you know, a great relationship and partnership with also is Texas State University. Our volunteers, of course, come from Texas State University in droves. We have great relationships with sororities and fraternities that come on a regular basis. We've just kind of got back into the swing of things, you know, of course, post-COVID and all of that. But they come, and they come with, you know, their youthfulness, as well as their desire to help the young people get better in the areas of which they need to, you know, strive and achieve in. And so we have organizations such as Phi Alpha, Alpha Kappa Alpha, DST, Delta Sigma Theta, and other organizations that come by and devote some time. As well as Power Hour, we also recently, since COVID came, with our partnership with Texas Alliance, we have a program called COVID Remediation. This particular program provides an online platform called ExactPath, where students are given a username and password, of course, and they're able to go online and, you know, put in some time through the platform to get themselves better in reading and math. It gamifies, as everything does nowadays, it gamifies the learning, so it doesn't feel, for the student, it doesn't feel like they're learning. They're actually, like, you know, playing a game and all that kind of stuff, just like what everybody else is doing nowadays in school. But it's in an after school and out of school time format. This provides a great avenue for us to be able to identify analytics and see, you know, how well students are progressing in those areas of reading and math. We also, with that happening during the academic school year, we also have a program during the summer that's called Summer Brain Gain. And Summer Brain Gain is the opportunity to assist students with retaining the information that they should have learned during the school year through fun activities and different little stories and things that they are needing to make up. And so very much in the summer, students are reading, students are, you know, calculating, doing math, and, you know, putting things together. But aside from, you know, the academic support that we're, you know, providing for youth in San Marcos, Boys and Girls Club still very much is a much needed asset to our youth, in that it provides very much needed socialization opportunities. It provides great emotional and mental wellness support. These are all key factors that assist in strengthening a student's confidence in their ability to learn. Nothing's better than, you know, receiving high fives when you walk through the Boys and Girls Club, or you're, you know, receiving students off of the bus from Travis Elementary, and they're excited to get to the day because their favorite person has picked them up from the bus and they're walking into the building. Or, you know, they've got a guest speaker that's coming for the day, such as the San Marcos Fire Department, or the police chief is stepping in to, you know, spend some time. These are, you know, the intangibles, the things that you really can't, make up, if you will. These are things that come natural to an environment that's suited and, you know, ready to help students realize their full potential. You know, as far as, you know, my tenure with the Boys and Girls Club, I've been with the organization since 2006. We've been all around San Marcos. We've been at the Mitchell Center. We've been at, you know, Bug Lane. We've moved to where we are currently, and you know, we're looking for other roads of, you know, making a home as well in San Marcos. But one thing is for certain throughout my years that I've been with the organization is that it does take a village, right? But within the village, you got to have strengthened individuals. And so a lot of our funding that we're asking for is all driven towards staff support. Is driven towards identifying those heroes for kids, those champions for kids, if you will. Those people who are coming in every day ready to go and are not, you know, bogged down or tied down by, you know, not being able to meet their bills or what have you. A lot of the struggles that we're experiencing, much like education is experiencing these times right now, is the fact that unfortunately there's not any money or funds being really funneled towards out of school time programs, after school care programs, or even child care programs in general. And it's getting to be really difficult out here to do this work. You know, and in that, in those circumstances, it makes it difficult to find people who are willing to, for lack of a better terminology, stand the rain. And so the funds that we're asking for, I believe is to the tune of $325K, is really all about helping ourselves to establish those champions for kids to continue to do this work that we're doing when it comes to, of course, helping our students make their academic gaps, continuing to strengthen our students in their self-confidence, their self-motivation and self-esteem, and then, of course, helping to support those people that come and dedicate themselves on a daily basis on an 8 to 5 or even a 12 to 6:30 or what have you, so that way they can completely commit themselves and get back to committing ourselves to the youth in which the community we live and reside. Our program is not just, of course, academically based and, you know, socially emotional. We give kids an opportunity to play sports and all of those great things too. But of course, the real meat and potatoes when it comes down to a Boys and Girls Club after school program is the camaraderie and the ability for it to create an atmosphere where kids can be kids. You know, where they can, you know, go and thrive and not be subjected to, you know, bullying or the, you know, the influences that they may see on social media and all of those things. Our kids still need us. That's still a thing that, you know, we're very passionate about. And I'm sure our Human Services Advisory Board is passionate about as well. But, you know, in times like these that we're facing currently, of course, after dealing in the pandemic, those particular values are unfortunately seeming to wither away. And
So,
our kids are, yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I'm gonna interrupt. We're at 10 minutes right now. And so I want to go ahead and stop the presentation.
Sorry.
It's been very interesting, but
I'm sorry.
we
Sorry
should
about
stop and provide
Yes.
the board time for a question and answer, if you don't mind.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Sorry about that.
Okay, no worries. So do we have questions from the board?
Your after school program, approximately how many students do you have that attend?
Yes, ma'am. So over the course of this year to date, we've served over 224 students as a product of our after school program.
So that's 224 students that attend the program or have attended the program over a course of time. Which one?
Yes, ma'am. Which is from January 1, 2023 to date. We have unduplicated numbers of 224 students from San Marcos that have been part of our after school program.
Okay. You also mentioned the Mitchell Center. I know that y'all have a contract with them.
Yes, ma'am.
When does that end?
I'm not aware to the end date of a contract or agreement. The Mitchell Center, as I understand it, is a kind of like a shared facility, if you will, or shared grounds, I guess you could say, right? In that the city itself has, you know, provided the land, if you will, for the building itself. And so the building is governed by our organization, the Boys and Girls Clubs of South Central Texas, for, you know, the use of programs in the community, but also is available for other, you know, community organizations to utilize as well, as per, you know, a rental fee or, you know, permission being granted by myself or the CEO.
So that's extra money for you if you use it as rental for community use or whoever wants. That's extra money that y'all have.
Yes,
Also,
ma'am.
with this, okay, I'm sorry. With the city allowing you to, granting you the Mitchell Center, are you paying any type of utilities or anything?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, we pay all utilities there at the facilities. That's water, electricity, Of course, we keep internet going, so we're we're paying for the internet there as well. And yeah, we have to, of course, we have to do the maintain and upkeep the facility. Anything that, you know, may happen to it, we have to foot the bill for it. Yes, ma'am.
Also, it's been closed for a while. So your after school program, where are these kids now, and when will you reopen? I know you reopened the Mitchell Center for a few minutes for
Yes, ma'am.
what was that, barbecue?
Mhm.
But when will it open for the kids again? And since it's not open right now, where are these kids currently
Yes, ma'am.
doing their after school program?
Yes, ma'am. So currently, right now, we have our after school program at 400 Euland Road. It's at the corner of Euland and Mill Street, and so we share, of course, that corner with the Texas Preparatory School, and so the building in which is considered our after school program is building number 3, which is the activity center. It's kind of like a gym kind of size type of building. And so that's where we're currently doing after school program right now. And then as far as the opening of the Mitchell Center, we're currently under making some renovations and changes to the inside. We suffered, you know, unfortunately, a bad leak underneath the facility and all of that. But that has since been repaired. We offered the opportunity to open it up for the Juneteenth celebration, as that is very historical and is very significant to the history of the building for it to have happened there. And then, of course, we're also looking for any other, you know, city officials or whomever that are, you know, wanting to utilize the building as well. And so we recently gave Mr. David Peterson the opportunity to host his re-campaign situation there, and that went over pretty good there as well. So we're slowly but surely getting back into the center, getting, you know, back in use and all of that good stuff. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have questions? We're at 15 minutes, but we can go a little bit long. Go ahead.
What percentage of kids do you see coming back yearly?
Oh, we're talking about that re-enroll in the program?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. So the real I guess the real pull for that would be numbers from pre-COVID, I guess you could say. Because since COVID, things have been quite different when it comes to, you know, parents having the funds available for after school. And so currently right now, our re-enrollment rate after COVID, we're sitting at about 45%. You know, 45% of students from last year, right, re-enrolled to this year, right? Whereas pre-COVID, our re-enrollment rate was about 73%, where, you know, parents were a little bit more, where things are a little bit easier, I guess you could say. Right now, we're in a state of unease.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm looking at your projected budget for 2024.
Yes.
What's plant maintenance and operations at 85,000, data processing at 19,000? Because if you're renting a building for somebody else, what are those two going to?
Could you repeat that one more time? I'm sorry. The projections were what they were again.
You have a line item for plant maintenance at 85,000, and then data processing at 19,000.
Yes. Okay. So when we were at our best stride, right? We had the Mitchell Center open and going. The Mitchell Center as well produced a middle school age program after school. With that particular line item, that line item there will assist us in providing the necessary maintenance to get that center back up and going as well.
So you're having to put our bill to rebuild that center?
No, we're not. No, it's not about rebuilding. It's more so about restabilizing the center. The center has been it has some foundational issues. And so these particular maintenance line items are to assist in, of course, securing the facility better than what it currently is. Of course, being on pier and beams and things like that, you have to, of course, pay the professionals to do that, those kinds of things. And so we want to make sure that, the Mitchell Center is in a good footing as far as being a safe environment for our students, which is partially the reason why we haven't really done any kind of real programming there, because of course, our big thing is, of course, a priority on safety and ensuring that, our students are in a good space when they come around, or anybody who uses the building.
So with the city granting it to you, they usually are responsible for the upkeep. And since it was granted to you, I know that you're not paying any type of monthly rent or anything for it, correct?
Correct. That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what part are you responsible for as far as the upkeep? Are you responsible for 60%, 50%, or because I know the city does come in and they do maintenance. I'm on the Calaboose, the African American Museum and board, and the city has granted us that facility plus the Cephas House. However, they do come in and help us with the maintenance and everything, even though we do cover the cost of some things. It's a very low percentage. They do the majority. So I don't see them having to have you foot the bill for the entire upkeep of that facility when we are kind of mirroring what they did with y'all through the Calaboose.
Yes, and I can definitely understand that. But as far as my eyes have seen, we've done a lot of the upkeep of the center on our own dime, and that's been fine. That's been okay for us and been okay with us. But we're just, of course, as everyone else is in a straight type of situation to where assistance is needed. It's a community center as well as the program. And so we want to, put our hat in the ring as well.
$107,000 worth of your hat in the ring?
What was that again?
$107,000 worth of your hat in the ring? That's your whole hat.
Yes, sir.
Okay. As far as food service, you have a line item for $5,000 for 2024, but then in the same budget, you have a line item for $500. Was that just a typo?
For $5,000 for food?
Yeah, and then on this one, it says 500.
That probably is a typo. Yes, sir.
Oh, fair enough. Thank you.
Do we have any other questions? We're at 21 minutes, so I just thought I'd bring that up real quick. Overall, we're good on time. I just wanted to let y'all know. Anything else?
I don't have anything.
Okay.
We should be good. Thank you, Mr. Pike.
Hey, thank you all. I appreciate you guys. Sorry for going over on the first half of it.
Oh, no worries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next speaker is for the Girls Empowerment Network, and it's for the Girl Connect program, and it's Chelsea Dean Martinez. And there she is. So feel free to get started.
Wonderful. Thanks, y'all. Yes, my name is Chelsea Dean Martinez. I'm the development director at Girls Empowerment Network. And it's actually very special to be here in 2023 in front of y'all as a director with this organization, because I think I talked to y'all back in 2016 or 2017 as a program coordinator who was facilitating this program in San Marcos at the time. So I'm excited to be back. Like mentioned, we are asking for funding and support for our flagship program, which we call Girl Connect. It is a peer support group that meets weekly on a school campus and is facilitated by one of our girl experts. The program offers young girls a sense of connection to their peers. It provides them with a relatable role model and walks them through a self-efficacy building curriculum, which self-efficacy is just the fancy way of saying your belief in your ability. our organization a few years ago really pivoted to sort of focus on this idea of increasing a girl's self-efficacy because one, it's a research-based principle, which means there is so much literature around the benefits of increasing somebody's self-efficacy, but it's also measurable. So we've been able to implement pre and post surveying for our programs to really show the impact that a program like ours has on young girls. So this curriculum helps build their belief in their ability, which we have seen to be foundational and really a prerequisite for success. Y'all might have seen in our app that one of the literature reviews that we quoted was that efficacy can really help determine how much effort people will expend on an activity, how long they will persevere when confronting obstacles, and how resilient they will prove to be in the face of adverse situations. So the higher the sense of self-efficacy, the greater the effort, persistence, and resilience. And we know that this is really important because teen girls are experiencing very high levels of hopelessness and sadness. Actually, the CDC just in February issued a press release urging folks to invest in school programs that will help support young girls. What they actually said is that nearly 3 in 5, so 57% of our US teen girls are feeling persistently sad or hopeless, and that's double of boys. And it's actually representing nearly a 60% increase in the highest level reported over the past decade. So we know that our programs are needed. I also heard one of our partners are, we partner with the school district so closely. And so hearing, San Marcos Consolidated just talking about the pregnancy issues, that is obviously one incredible and important issue affecting girls or disproportionately affecting girls. What we also know is that the Texas Tribune and their Public Schools Explorer tool says that 54.3% of San Marcos ISD students are at risk of dropping out. And so we know that if we can build our youth's self-efficacy and their belief in their ability and their resilience, that can be one part of the solution to helping this really high rate of risk of dropout. So that's a little bit about our Girl Connect program. We have been actually facilitating this program in San Marcos since 2013. And actually that is how long we've been partnering with the city of San Marcos as well. Y'all have played a huge role in making our consistent programs available for the youth in San Marcos. So again, I just want to reiterate that this is a weekly program for girls. So it is reliable, it is consistent. They know where they're meeting every single time each week, and they meet for an entire semester. So we know that programming that is repetitive also helps just increase the impact that it has on our youth. I think I had mentioned that we focused on self-efficacy because it's measurable. I really want to point out something that we're very excited to report out on, and that is after this recent year's data, we now have 4 years of data on pre and post surveying when it comes to the impact on self-efficacy for girls. And what we have seen is our programs have a statistical significance on their self-efficacy. So that means it is beyond that reasonable doubt that it's just a good day when they took their post survey, but that our programs are actually having an impact on our girls and increasing their belief in their ability. And again, the beauty of self-efficacy is there's so much research around how we do that, like mastery of experiences, vicarious experiences. So that is like seeing other people successful in something, that's trying your hand at something and being successful at it. Verbal persuasion. So that's having that relatable role model who's going to be there to tell you you can do it. So all of those are used in this program to really have an impact on girls. We know that high sense of self-efficacy affects academic achievement, future success, and has a lot of positive mental health outcomes. The only other thing I wanted to mention is that some of our successes from last year. So we were able to serve 110 students through this Girl Connect program last school year on 7 different campuses. To give you an idea of the girls that we work with, 86% of them identify as girls of color and 91% come from low-income households. We use the federal free or reduced lunch program to come up with that or to gauge that number. And what's really cool is this of our flagship program, but because we have such deep-seated relationships with San Marcos schools, we were actually able to do 2 summer mini camps with Miller Middle School and Goodnight Middle School. We were actually able to bring girls into Austin to our offices, facilitate a summer camp that took them through our programming, and then they actually got to do a university tour. So they got to go to St. Edward's, which is neighbors. So outside of Girl Connect and not the request today, but I think just a really beautiful reflection of the wonderful relationships we've built in San Marcos. We have seen just such an increase in demand for programming from our school champions, our school partners. A lot of them are under-resourced, understaffed, and unable to meet the needs of all the students on their campus. And they really see our Girl Connect program as an extension of being able to offer mental health support for the students on their campus. So we've continued see an increase, but much like our friend from Boys and Girls Club, we have not seen the same amount of support, at the same levels. So I think that's all I have for y'all. So I'm happy to take questions.
Hi, yes. My question is, so I heard a lot about San Marcos, and you said Goodnight and Miller Middle School, but then you said you brought kids into Austin and did a college tour of St. Edward's. Now, those are Austin schools, so why are we not touring somewhere like Texas State or, stimulating the San Marcos? I mean, I went to St. Edward's, so like I graduated from there, so I'm a Hilltopper, so that's.
I love it. Yeah, no.
know.
That is such a great question. So again, this was outside of this program. I think that our schools actually requested something outside of their campus. And unfortunately, we're a satellite in San Marcos. Our only office is in Central Texas. So that was the only place that we could host them. However, if we could build some really cool partnerships in San Marcos with spaces that would be able to host us, we could offer things like that. Otherwise, our programs do take place on school campuses. And we actually have partnered with Texas State many times. We actually take a lot of the social work students from Texas State who facilitate our programs. And
at the schools located in San Marcos.
Yes, absolutely. And and a lot of them also volunteer.
Okay. Anything else that you can add that just like I guess amplifies your presence in San Marcos, just so I'm like, I feel like I am seeing the vision, but I'm seeing the vision for like all of Central Texas, and I want to see the vision for San Marcos.
Yeah, absolutely. So like I said, I mean, we've been offering this program in San Marcos since 2013. We feel super committed to this area. I reported out on the numbers from last year, and I'll be really honest, a lot of that came from unrestricted funding. So we served, I think, over 200 students in Hays County, and then I'm obviously just giving all the San Marcos numbers, but outside of the city of Austin, we have only one other funder that funds programming in y'all's area. So
do you mind if I ask who that is?
Absolutely. You could look at our 990 and see who it was. It's the Gertie Johnson Foundation. They're incredible. We love them. They're a Hays specific funder, but they're the only other.
So that makes some sense on why you're that answers everything. I appreciate you. Thank you. Purple looks nice on you.
It's our color. Girls and
all right.
Clayton, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you could share which schools in San Marcos Consolidated are referral based and which are voluntary attendance.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to tell you what I assume, and then I would probably want to follow up and make sure I'm accurate. Again, I have the benefit of having facilitated our programs, and so I can understand them on a little bit of a deeper level. I'll quickly list off where we were because I do have it in front of me. We were at De Zavala Elementary, Mendez Elementary, Miller Middle School, Goodnight Middle School, Rodriguez Elementary, San Marcos High, and Travis Elementary. What we have found is that our middle school and high school champions really want a referral-based program. Like I said, they see us as an extension of what they're able to offer. A lot of times our school champions are the school social workers or the school counselors on campus. And what's happening is they're having students come to them and say, Miss, I need somebody to talk to. And they're like, I'm at capacity, or they're doing things outside of counseling. They're helping with school scheduling or class scheduling or attendance, or, something outside of the social emotional support they're meant to offer. So a lot of times they're referring specific girls who they know need the programming. A lot of times it is girls who are having truancy issues, having issues at home, behavioral issues, or just who have come to them asking for the support. So again, our middle school, high schools are very much referral. And then it's our elementary schools where we're seeing a lot of champions want it to be a recruitment. And so it's an after school program, and girls are able to like opt into it, and families are able to get their girls into it.
Thanks so much for the information.
Absolutely.
We have some more time available. Does anyone else have questions?
Do you offer services to trans girls?
We do. We actually feel quite strongly about this. Our programming is open to cis, trans, or non-binary youth. We've never been in the business of asking students about their biology. So if a student comes forward and they want to be in our programs, then we want them in our programs.
Cool. Thank you. Gloria, your hand's up. And you're on mute, Gloria.
You're on mute.
Okay. No, I'm not. You mentioned that there's a weekly. Am I still on mute? No, I'm not.
No, we can.
A weekly program for girls for one semester. Did I hear you right?
Yes.
And then what?
Yeah, great question. So that typically turns out to be about like 8 to 16 sessions, depending on how early we can start in the semester. When we have the funding, we're able to return in the spring, and we don't turn away girls who've been in the program before. We will bring them back in, but the reality, and I'm sure most people in here understand, is the promised unduplicated numbers. And so that is why we've been semester-based so far instead of year-based. Is a lot of people want to see their funding stretched further. They want to see higher number of girls served. And that is just sort of the reality of it. But we do know that
sounds like you're not thrilled with that arrangement.
Yeah, it's a bummer. It's a bummer to have to convince people that like consistent programming is worth it and more impactful. But what keeps us going is that we do offer one-time workshops, assemblies, things like that. And what we have seen to be true is that after just 4 times, we see a dramatic increase in that impact on their self-efficacy. So we know that semester-based programming is still incredibly impactful and effective.
Okay. Can you give me an example of what that looks like?
Absolutely.
And you mentioned verbal persuasion program. I kind of locked in on that. I'm thinking, I'm trying to envision what that.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. So that is, so it's not necessarily that we have a verbal persuasion program. It's just that that's an element in which you can use to increase somebody's self-efficacy. So literally having somebody there to be like, I believe in you, I see you, you're worthy, you can do it. Like that is an effective tool in increasing somebody's self-efficacy. So that is just a tool used in our programming. However, we do actually have like a set number of topics that we bring up in our modules. It's stuff around healthy relationships, assertive communication, stress management, and healthy coping skills. We actually have a list of 20 topics, and we work with our school partners to really focus in on what the girls at that campus need. So a lot of times our school partners are the ones who see the girls every day. They're able to tell us, we're having a bullying problem, or we are having girls come to us saying that they are anxious and depressed. They need healthy coping skills. And so we're able to really work with them to implement a program that is specialized for those girls. And then each week has a routine. So there's an opening, there's check-in where girls get the opportunity to go round robin and say they're sunny and they're cloudy for the week and what they're looking forward to. So, you know, not only like, what are we celebrating? What are the good things, but like, what are you struggling with? And so many girls make connections just because of that check-in. All of a sudden they realize they're not the only ones with parents fighting at home, or they're not the only one who just went through a breakup, or, you know, whatever it is, it's something that builds connection. And then we actually implement our curriculum that is very hands-on, activity-based around whatever the topic is for that day. And then there's always like a closing discussion. And that's kind of the agenda for the day, what you can expect each week to look like.
So you meet once a week per school, or, I mean, are you active every, you know, during the 5 days out of the week when school's in session?
Yeah, so we're going to be on multiple campuses each semester. And so we really work with, again, our schools to be like, hey, when do you want us here? When's the most effective? Some people have carved after school time set out where it's easy to plug us in. I actually loved San Marcos because like Miller Middle School had an SEL period built into their day. And so that's when they slotted us in. So we meet with that same group of girls on that one campus each week. So that can be anywhere from like 15 to 20 girls on that campus. But, you know, we can be in San Marcos multiple times Monday through Friday because we're doing multiple groups. Like I said, I think last year we were on 7 campuses.
So it's about 15 kids per session?
Yep.
Is the norm?
Yep. We find that if we get too much bigger, it loses a little bit of that peer connection.
Yeah, right. No, there's no, then it's just a class. It's not.
Yeah, it feels like a classroom. Yeah.
Interaction. Okay.
And we utilize the girl circle model, or like we've been heavily influenced by that. So it's a circle base where there is no like teacher up front. We are sitting with them. Girls are equal. Everybody's got sort of a seat at the table. We find it to be a really empowering model. So
how do the students find out about you?
So I know, I think it was Clayton asked earlier, we have referral and recruitment based groups. So if it's referral, a lot of times it's teachers on campus, it's vice principals, and like school counselors who are like, hey, I think this girl needs to be in this program. We never force a girl to be in the program, but a lot of times they want to be there. So referral based, and then we'll do recruitment. And a lot of times that's at an elementary school. And I mean, it's the old school, tacking up a flyer, doing announcements, sending stuff home to parents.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
So Courtney, I see your hand up, but I'm not sure if that was left over. I think it was probably left over. I think it's been up since talking.
Well, I got one more question, just one more.
It is left over.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, sorry. I was having trouble with the mute button.
How do you take your hand down?
Uh,
Your hand, there you go.
There we go.
So where's the person? Did she leave?
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay. Oh, there you are. All right. Well, I mean, so the whole social media thing really has an impact on all of this. And I would assume that gets addressed on a regular basis because that's probably one of the main sources of, you know, I'm not good enough. I'm not thin enough, smart enough, pretty enough, this enough, whatever.
Absolutely.
And,
Yeah, there's been research that's come out that actually, like, I think we've all had the hunch that it's not good for students, but now it's proven. Like, there is stuff saying that like Facebook and Instagram is detrimental to girls' mental health.
Right. And there's not a lot of parental control probably for a lot of these students, so they're free to
also kids are much
surf the web and
smarter.
feel as inadequate as they possibly can.
Yeah, I'm like, kiddos are much smarter than adults give them the credit to be as well. So when parents do think there are things, you know, helping, there's ways to work around it. But I had mentioned our 20 modules that school champions can choose from. And one of them is like media literacy or computer literacy and really how to like understand what is real, what is fake, busting some of those myths. I don't know if people are familiar with Snapchat, but people were like, no, I sent it and it's gone forever. And we're like, let's talk about that. Let's talk about screenshots. Let's talk about whatever. And really trying to help them think critically about what it is they're engaging with and how it's impacting them. So yes, big topic in our program.
Good, good.
So we're at
Okay.
about 20 minutes. Does anybody else have some questions?
I have one question. So Chelsea, I'm looking at your financials and it shows that 92% of your funding goes to salaries. Why is that so high?
Yes. Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm so glad you brought that up. I made that as a note for ours as well. So what we offer girls is a service. So our greatest resource is our people. Something that makes us very different from other programs is that the people who are facilitating this program are like trained professionals who have educational backgrounds in social work, psychology, family and child sciences. They are permanent parts of our staff and they receive benefits and, you know, what we consider to be fair salaries. A part of our DEI initiatives has been to actually increase our direct service staff's salaries. So last year, we bumped our base pay for direct service program coordinators to $50,000, which is a huge move for social workers and direct service workers. And essentially, we were just like, if we are a girl serving org and we are about women's empowerment, we need to be empowering our staff that is 99% women and not contribute to the devaluing of social services, which often happens for folks in nonprofit. So yes, big part of our budget is our people because it's just what we do. It's our services, it's our program.
92% of your budget.
Sorry, say that.
92% of your budget is people.
That sounds right. I feel like we normally say it's around 80%. So 92 sounds high, but I'm like,
I did the numbers.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
For 2024, it's 89%, which is a little better, but.
Gotcha.
And then I was looking at your full-time positions versus part-time, and I mean, it's an interesting dichotomy, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm curious if they're like what you notice for other organizations, if you are aware of like industry norms or standards, like if that is I guess I'm curious like why that is. It sounds maybe like it's concerning.
Industry norm is 20% of the budget should be for personnel, and 80% should go to the people that you're helping.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I need to interrupt, I think. So
yeah, I was about to say,
I think there's a clear difference between the programs.
Yeah.
So like a food bank, their program is very heavily volunteer and very heavily buying things to give out. And this program is very heavily service specific and people serve people.
Nice.
And they also hold their classes or their groups at the school campuses, so they don't pay rent.
Yes, I'm so sorry. I don't want 92% to sound like that's overhead or that is like staff who are not actually implementing our programming. It absolutely is. Yeah.
Well, that's it. Staff is it.
Staff.
I mean, what else do you have? You got staff that's delivering a service.
Yes.
And I get that.
We are the program cost. We are the budget. Or the program budget is the people.
And have you given, what else are you doing to try to get some other funding? I'm sure you could use more than 20K, which is what you're asking for, but.
Yeah.
You did mention that you got one other contributor and they're from Austin.
No, they're from Hayes. They're from Hayes County. But
really?
They are, yeah. The Birding Johnson is from Hayes.
Okay.
Yeah, we like I said, we have just such a commitment to the area that we do redirect unrestricted dollars. We have funders who are like, we want to just support you. We don't care where it's at. So we are able to redirect it when it's needed. We've leaned really heavily into building a sustainable model. So building different buckets in which we bring our revenue. So our fee for service actually brings in 10%. Or actually, I think it's 11% of our overall revenue, which is really great for a nonprofit. That's things like that mini camp, Miller Middle School and Goodnight actually helped contribute to pay for those. Our conferences have ticket cost, things like that. So we are trying to work on diversifying our funding. That way, you know, when philanthropic dollars aren't there, we do still have a small revenue that we're earning through our programs. Another thing that we like our program team offers is like continuing education for educators. So we'll do workshops for teachers and for admin at campuses. And there's always a budget for that with schools. And so they're able to pay for it. And so, yeah, that's just one of the ways, but it's also just constantly working and connecting and trying to find those supporters who are inevitably out there to support the program.
So I hate to cut it off, but we're at 25 minutes, which is
Yeah.
significant. So I think we should go ahead and stop. This has been really interesting. So thanks for all the information.
Absolutely. Thank you all for your wonderful and insightful questions. If it's allowed, if anybody does want to email me any further questions, they're more than welcome to. But thank you all.
And
Nancy, did you have anything?
No.
Okay, and I would say if okay, if you do have questions, please send them to me so that I can send them to her, and then we can provide the answers to all the board members at the same time.
Sounds
So,
great.
okay. Thank you
all.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So our last presenter
Thank you.
tonight. Our last presenter tonight is Prevent a Litter, or known as PALS. Their program is called Helping Underserved People for a Healthy Community. And I have Lauren Boyer and Kelly Keenan here to present. And feel free to go ahead.
Hi, guys. Thank you for spending your time with us. I know y'all heard a lot of presenters. So I'll try and make this presentation and PowerPoint as sweet and simple as possible so you guys can get home. Prevent a Litter is a San Marcos, Hays County based animal hospital. We are serving our low-income families and all of Hays County, but San Marcos is our greatest need because they're the biggest city in Hays County and they've been using our services the most. So we do this helping people keep their animals in their homes and out of the shelters, and helping families save money with their pets by doing our pet food pantry, our spay and neuter clinics, our TNR clinics, free microchipping, and low-cost vaccines. And we collaborate with the shelter. So as you can see, our demographics for San Marcos is the biggest clients that we have at our facility. We've done about 641 free services for San Marcos residents. That's $51,000 this year. We've done 1,800 of total San Marcos clients. So some of them, if they aren't low income and they don't qualify, they can use our low cost service, which is a fraction of the cost of a vet. So San Marcos and Hays County, we have fixed over 4,000 animals this year. We're hoping by the end of this year, we'll get to about 5,000, which is doubled or doubled last year's. And this is just a chart to show how we have been growing every single year since 2019. It just lets you know that next year we're projected to do, if we stay on this trend, hopefully the goal would be close to 10,000, 8,000, 10,000 animals next year. And in order to do those, we're going to need more funding, especially from San Marcos, since it's the biggest number of clients that we have come to our facility. Why is PALS so desperately needed? I don't know, with COVID and the rise in inflation, and the cost of vet care has tripled in the last few years, and people literally just cannot afford to get their animals fixed or do any kind of wellness with their animals. And so we're here to fill that gap. For price comparison, it's just looking at how much a cat neuter would cost a family. It's around between $200 and $350 for a cat spay and neuter. If you don't qualify for a free service, anybody can use our service for $75. Our dog neuters are 85 if they're under 50, or they're free if you qualify. Our highest amount that anyone would ever have to pay if they don't qualify is $175. For animals that are extra large and over 75 pounds at regular vets, you're looking at close to $800 to $1,000 a surgery. And we offer those for a fraction of the cost or free for families. We don't want people to have to not fix their animal overpaying their rent. That's what we're here for. The second thing that we want to help families with, we discovered that our food banks are not able to give out animal food. And so we have provided the service to monthly distribute around 800 pounds of dog and cat food for San Marcos and Hays County residents. They count on us being there every single month. We have a lot of frequent customers that come back for food. And then we also get people that come who have just fallen on hard times and they just need something for a couple of months to feed their animals. And we're just glad that we're able to be here and be consistent to San Marcos and Hays County to make sure that these animals are fed and they don't have to worry about extra costs. So one of our programs is our trap, neuter, return. San Marcos has passed an ordinance where it's legal to trap animals and release them back to where they came from. And so in order to support that, to keep disease down, because while they're in our custody, they also get rabies vaccinations. So it helps with communicable diseases that are out there in our city. Also, you're not going to have all these extra litters that are going to end up in the shelter and burden people on their land with extra animals. So we're spaying and neutering, I think, about 1,100 this year. And out of that, 450 were actually from San Marcos. So lastly, our other service is our low-cost vaccinations and free microchips. We were lucky to get a grant from Hays County to distribute free microchips. That is the best way to reunite all animals to their homes and bypass shelter diversion and get them out of the shelters so they can be returned to their families. Also, San Marcos has a city ordinance that all animals must be microchipped. That's new in the last year. They used to have people have to register, and I think it was like some kind of, I don't know, it was a registration, but it wasn't a microchip. So they've done away with that. And now everybody has to be microchipped in San Marcos in the city. We also do very low cost rabies. It's $15. It's a walk up, first come, first serve. It's every single month or even bi-monthly if we can. You can just get a rabies. There's no wellness charge. It just makes sure that the people who bring their animals will have healthy animals that are not going to be contributing to any kind of contagious diseases that are out there in our city. So some of the ways that we've been able to contact clients and is our community outreach. We did just get a new community outreach coordinator this year. She's been going to all the food banks in Hays County and San Marcos and handing out our vouchers, which they can fill out and it gets brought back here and we go through them and get in contact with them and get their animals scheduled for surgery for free if they are on any kind of public assistance. Some of the other places is that we go to block parties at Dunbar, the farmers market, Southside Community Service. We work with them. They have the homeless population there. So they have a stack of our vouchers and they also come and get food that they can from us, that they can distribute to the homeless who have animals at their facility. So we do partner with other people in the city. So just basic ways that everybody can find us. There's billboards we have out. We're pretty out there on Facebook. We put flyers. A lot of people know who we are. And then our facility is located in San Marcos on San Antonio Street. So if people don't have access, if they hear where we are located, they just come and knock on the door and we can help them that way as well. So we are a very small board, volunteer based, and we have about 200 registered volunteers in this community. Texas State groups will help us. We have a Sign Up Genius with lots of opportunities to help in the surgery center, or at the food bank distributing food, our special events that we put on to get all of our message out to San Marcos. So this is just a couple of praises for people in our community that have used our services. We have someone that had a cat. It says, I'm not gonna lie, I was freaking out all day because it was $300 to $500 to go to the vet and we couldn't afford it. So PALS, we fixed their animal for free because they needed it. All right, so in conclusion, basically we just want to let you guys know that we had to up our request because we are hoping to double what we did last year for next year, and that San Marcos is one of our biggest client base that we're helping in the community now. I don't know if anybody has any questions. I try to go as fast as I can. I know y'all been here for a while.
Thank you. Okay, so we'll open the floor for questions, and I'm gonna ask you if you'll take down your presentation. So we'll go back
Yes,
to
ma'am.
gallery. Yeah, there you
One
go.
question.
It looks like, well, let's have Yancy go and then Gloria.
Was that amount updated? Was that given to us, the updated amount that they asked for?
Yeah, so your application had the amount that you're requesting, correct? Like the current, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Okay, Gloria, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sure you have a income based on size of family amount for a voucher, which a voucher means free neuter, right? Or
Yes,
shots.
ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, and what's the criteria for if you're willing to pay, but you don't meet the criteria for free? Is there a number? I'm sorry, I don't have
Yeah,
your hand.
so the number, it depends, number depends on how many people you have in your family and how much you get in monthly. If you don't qualify for the free voucher, then you can pay the low cost. And that's why we can service everybody in San Marcos, because it's a fraction of what you would have to pay at the vet.
Oh, so it doesn't matter how much money you're making.
Correct.
The low cost.
For to use the low cost. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. And do you partner with Emancipet at all or?
No, we don't, but what we do is a lot like Emancipet. It's but the difference is we give out more free services than in our community, and it's the only one that's in Hays County. Emancipet doesn't come to Hays County anymore.
Oh, really? Why?
Because Austin supports them, and if they're giving them a lot of funding, they don't want them to go outside their county because they have so many they need to take care of, and so they have to stay in Travis.
Wow. Okay.
So we're it for San Marcos and for all of Hays.
Well, and I'm fascinated. So Kyle was 22%. Well, and I guess you're talking vouchers. Kyle
Yes,
is
ma'am.
22%. And San Marcos is 66.
It's not just vouchers, it's everyone that's using our services. So it's vouchers and low cost, but it does have on here the 641 is how many free vouchers we've given to San Marcos residents, and that's about $51,000. But we've done 1,800 San Marcos. And Kyle is our second largest need for the county.
Isn't Kyle larger than San Marcos, the population wise?
I don't think so.
Really?
No,
I think with the students,
somebody must know that
because we do count the students. We also serve the students on campus. They get their first apartment and they want an animal, and then they can't afford it. So we definitely don't want them to be having more litters and ending up at our shelters. So we take care of students as well.
Is Kyle contributing to you guys?
This year is the first time that Kyle has allocated any money for spay and neuter. It's $21,000. But what happened is It's through their voucher system. So they have to approve it. It's not we don't get the money. It's, well, we do if they end up coming to us. They can use Emancipet or they can use us. And they are responsible for finding the clients, giving them the vouchers, and then we will redeem it. We've only received 3 this year. That's from Kyle. So the rest of it we're paying for.
For Kyle.
Yes, ma'am. Hayes
Whoa.
County does support us as well, which covers
Okay.
Kyle.
All right, so the number for the 22% for Kyle and 66 for us is pure voucher,
Yes, ma'am.
not just assistance with low cost vet care.
Correct.
You got any idea what percentage, like low cost vet care, San Marcos versus Kyle would be?
Well, I mean, I think
Probably not.
it's probably less. Kyle's probably less than half of what San Marcos does. San Marcos is our biggest clients that we see.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just surprised by that. Okay, thanks.
Does anybody else have questions?
Oh, I got one more. The San Marcos shelter. When all the other shelters we can't take any more in, San Marcos somehow finds a way, and they're the last one, the last man standing, so to speak. It's trying to provide some kind of shelter care for all of Hayes County.
Yeah.
And now I forgot what my question was. Wait a minute. Oh, so what relationship do you have with the shelter? Is there a pet that's been there for an eternity, and if you just neuter it, maybe it would move, or
No,
what?
the shelter has their own vet on staff, and so they take care of the animals that are in their facility. How we partner with the shelter is someone might come in and they have a couple of kittens and we can't afford to keep them. So we want to relinquish them to the shelter, but they would love to keep them. They just can't afford it. Then they're going to send them to us to where we can cover all their health care so that they don't end up in the shelter and they can stay with that family. We're helping to divert them out of the shelter by giving the needs that need to be filled.
But hopefully the shelter pushes y'all. I mean, pushes your
Absolutely.
service.
We have paper vouchers. There's also on our website is all our online vouchers, but we have hopefully all the ACOs now have a copy of our paper vouchers. So then when they're out there in the field and they go to a certain neighborhood and they see that there are a lot of animals that need our services, they can actually hand them out to them directly.
Okay. All right. That's good. Thanks. Good presentation, by the way.
Thanks. I was really nervous. Sorry.
Couldn't tell. Couldn't tell.
Just to clarify your question, San Marcos has a 31% poverty rate and Kyle has a 6.26%. So when we talk about the need in San Marcos, that's a huge part of the equation as well. And as
I'm
far
sorry,
as
I missed the main word. That San Marcos has what rate?
31% poverty rate.
Oh, okay.
Whereas Kyle is 6.26%. The other question you had was population. Looks like San Marcos is just over 70,000 right now, and Kyle is just over 56,000 right now.
Oh, wow. Okay. I get all the shopping malls kind of threw me off. And Kyle.
Also, we have 38,000 Texas State students, so that pushes us to 100,000 versus 50,000 with Kyle. So it's a combination of a lot of factors.
Wow. That's interesting. Thanks for that additional data.
Yes.
So in one of your graphs, it showed that it was like a dog and cat comparison. So why like do you get more cats, I guess, than dogs?
No, actually, Dogs over 50 pounds is one of our biggest requests. We do have a lot of cats, but we can also get them spayed and neutered faster. So it may look like we've done more cats, I mean, which we have. It's just because we can only fit so many dogs in our facility at a time. So it takes a little bit longer for us to process through those dog applications. But dogs are a huge request. And we have about, if we're over 55 pounds, it's about between 2 to 3 month wait time. Cats, it's 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. And then what would you say has been the cause of like increase in services from the last couple of years?
Oh, we
Money.
have the demand is there. We have about almost 700 applicants a month. So we're processing as fast as we can, but I think it's the vet costs have just astronomically gone up, and then you have the rising costs of COVID, inflation, and people just cannot afford it. So we're pretty much the only outlet that people can come to get affordable health care and the basic services of spay and neuter, which we need to do to keep the animal population down so that they're not all ending up in the San Marcos shelter.
Yeah.
Are your vets volunteered? Your vets?
No, ma'am. Everyone's paid. The vets, we work with about 5 different vets, and they're all paid.
Are they from San Marcos?
No, we have one from San Antonio, one from Marble Falls comes down. Our medical director that is here that oversees all of our medicine and orders all of our drugs under her license. She lives in Austin. Yeah, everybody lives about an hour away, and they drive in several times a month. We do about between 10 to 13 clinics a month. So it's
Okay.
around about 350 animals. Oh no, probably more than that. Like 400 to 500 animals a month.
Wow.
Every Thursday is our guaranteed largest day. Today we did 48. And that was like half dogs, half cats. Thursdays we try and hit 50 animals every Thursday. Our TNR days are really big too. I think we can do between 60 and 80 cats a day.
Okay. So do they, it's probably not an honest question, but do the vets work for less money or do they? I mean, I guess I'm curious what they're charging y'all. I mean, it's nice that they're doing this.
Each one has their own contract. So and it depends on their skill level. So we have on Thursday is, we call her, fast hands because she can spay and neuter an animal in less than 5 minutes and a dog in 10 minutes, which is really unheard of, but that's all she does. That's
She
her
can
entire
neuter an
profession.
animal in 10 minutes?
Yes, ma'am. It's incredible. Yeah, it really is amazing. And that's all she does. It's her business. The other vets that we see that come down 2 or 3 times a month, they have a full-time job at a regular vet hospital, and they're not donating their time. We're paying them, but they're coming on their days off to come help us because they do appreciate the cause and know that we really need them. And we hope to have more vets. If we can get more vets, we can do more clinics.
Yeah.
But right now we're about 13 clinics a month, but it's still a lot.
Yeah. Hit up Kyle.
So we're at 21 minutes, and so I thought I'd bring that up. Do we have any other questions? So, okay, seeing none, I think we should conclude, and thank you very much for the information that you've provided.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to turn it back over to Sharif.
Okay, so we're gonna go to item number 6, discussion items. We're gonna hold a discussion on board members on programs, agencies, and applications for the purpose of clarification, comparison, evaluation, and assessment. Discussion is public, however, it is among board members only. This time is meant for a free flow of conversation, but please make your comments succinct to allow time for all board members to share if they wish. This discussion will be facilitated by Carol Griffith, the Housing Community Development Manager. Carol, go ahead and help us out.
Okay, and I guess as usual, I just kind of throw out a question or two. Main thing we're trying to look at, of course, is need in San Marcos. And so that is something always to consider. I wondered, how the presentations formed your opinions of the need for their programs. So we could start there, or y'all are welcome to bring up a topic that you'd like to discuss, of course.
I think Pal's really presented that need in San Marcos, like very efficiently, very clearly. They really, I mean, they're doing a great job. And then for them to be the only one that's doing free to low service, low cost services is
Well,
spectacular.
yeah, and especially because, like she said, 31% of San Marcos is below the poverty line.
Mhm.
So they definitely, that's something definitely that's needed here in San Marcos.
31%. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and the pet pantry is really needed.
Yeah. Because
So
they can't afford to do this puppy food bank commercials all the
Yeah.
time, you know? Like Austin
yeah, it's like stop.
Hey. Do you want to chime in? We're talking about puppies and stuff, so he wants to come in.
Talk about puppies, yes. Yeah. So I actually went over to PetSmart to get stuff for the shelter. I mean, it's just amazing how much everything is. It's just hard.
Yeah.
I don't see how anybody affords, you know, if you're scraping by. It's pretty bad. That's why the shelters are brimming at the anyway.
And on the topic of PALs, I wanted to clarify. So the money they're requesting for is only for the spay and neuter, correct? I understand they talked about a lot of other things that they do, but the money's only for that.
I think so.
And we'll talk about the money further on, what, two meetings from now? Yeah, but I mean, they are asking for double from what they did in 2022, which was their highest funding,
What's it ask?
45 versus 20 and then 15 last year.
Hmm.
So they're asking for double, but I guess we'll just weigh, you know, how much of the benefit is going versus doubling the budget, so, or their grant, I'm sorry.
I don't have those numbers, unfortunately. So, anybody want to talk about the Boys and Girls Club?
So both the Boys and Girls Club and the Girl Empowerment. I mean, Girl Empowerment didn't ask for much. They only asked for 20, but they got 3 last year. And the Boys and Girls Club, they asked for 325, but then in the packet it says they can do 97.
Mhm.
Now, where I was going with both of those is I didn't see much of it. Like, it didn't seem to me like they presented a big enough need in San Marcos. Especially with both the Boys and Girls Club and the Girl Empowerment. When you look at all the people that work with them, they're in Houston, Dallas, Austin, and neither one of them have any presence per se in San Marcos specifically. So those are my thoughts on those two.
What do you mean the people they work with are outside of San Marcos?
Yeah, I don't understand.
It seems like the clubs themselves, like the Boys and Girls Club and the other one, are more Austin, Dallas, Houston based rather than San Marcos. It seems like San Marcos an ancillary service.
Mhm.
So that's the only thing I was thinking on that.
We do
Like
require that the money they get from San Marcos has to be used in San Marcos, so that is something to consider.
And while they're maybe based or were founded in other service areas, like they have both of them have a long standing in the San Marcos community. So I think we could be assured, like, despite that, like the money is being spent here.
Clayton, Joanne, any thoughts on this? Because we hear Gloria's dog has a lot of thoughts on this.
Well, Gloria, I just muted you, sorry. You're gonna have to unmute in order to talk.
No, I mean, my biggest thought is I appreciate how going back to PALs, they, you know, straightforward, like this money is going to be used for the program. Just outline that. And I did want to compliment the San Marcos Consolidated program for, I mean, 70% contact rate is awesome. And to show that they've been achieving those numbers is good too.
And with the San Marcos Consolidated, they're just going back to the funding they used to have. I mean, I don't see why somebody would cut 10,000. Joanne, do you have any thoughts on that from last year to this year, or from 22 to 23, why they cut 10,000 off of that program?
No, I was looking at that too. I don't have any really concrete thought on that.
What program? Where are we?
San Marcos Consolidated ISD.
The school parenting program.
Yeah.
Oh, school aging okay. It's got two names. All right.
We've run into this before when it pertains to kids, how they have issues or concerns in different areas. And that's the area that really needs funding, and the reason that they need the funding, and they end up cutting it. So I don't know. This is not the first time that I've seen this.
And also how she sounded when she
Good
did
question.
provide testimony, which is different, of course, than some Trump aides who.
What is that noise?
I did have a problem with the Boys and Girls Club. And I guess because I know a little bit about their history, and how they did not utilize the Mitchell Center in the way that they should have. In fact, it's been closed for, oh my goodness, even before pandemic. And it's just, I don't understand how they can be granted this center for their usage of after school program, because that's what it's always been used at, even before they obtained it. And the city not help them maintain it. And they're having to spend so much money maintaining. I just don't see that. And I think one of the problems that I had is that it was open for Juneteenth, and it was also open for David Peterson's political rally. But it's been closed all these years. And then they finally opened it for those two programs or events. And so I had a little problem with that. I just feel that them asking for so much money, I know.
Sorry, we're having increasing trouble hearing you because I think your television's on.
Oh, no, that's the television from the other. Okay, hold on. Let me get them to turn it down. Yeah, my house is loud. I just had a little problem with that. And I think just me being able, because they're here in my neighborhood, walking distance from my house. And because they've not been able to maintain something that was granted to them for free, I have problems with, I know we can't give them that much money.
Yeah.
No, 325K.
That's like more than.
But I just asking for so much money, and that money, yeah, for something. That's just my personal, and it's not really personal. I mean, you can the place, is still closed, and they're not using it for its intended purpose for years. So, and that's free. So I'm just not understanding that.
And so they're paying rent where they're at right now?
No, it's free.
With where they at right now on Ulen, they are paying. But they were using the Mitchell Center as an after-school program. And then all of a sudden, they stopped using the Mitchell Center, but it's, they were rented out to get money, but they just haven't been utilizing it. And I don't know, I just have a problem with giving them money. And I know that we're not on that subject, but I have a problem with giving them money when I see that they don't, how they're managing something that was granted to them from the city for free. It's like, okay, now you're asking for all this money for salaries. That's just how I feel about it. That's why I was asking him certain questions about the Mitchell Center, hoping that he would clarify more of why it's been closed so long, and its intended purpose has always been for an after-school program for kids.
And also, I wasn't satisfied with his answer of, what was it, 85,000 or something like that, that's going for renovating. And again, you pointed out it's the city that owns it, so why are you renovating something that the city should be taking care of? That's one.
Exactly, exactly.
They asked for
Thank-
305,000, but then they say we can get by with 97,000. And then both those figures, I mean, he didn't make a good enough case to like, how's that gonna be used in San Marcos?
Yeah,
No,
I'm
it's
glad
pretty
you
vague.
brought the numbers up. Yeah.
I thought I thought it was pretty vague.
Yeah.
Some of the information. Just saying.
I
And
was
it's the
having
first year they've
trouble.
asked, right? First year they've presented.
I'd have to look back, I know for the past few years asking for this funding, but I would think they had received it before, but I'd have to look back at our old records. I really don't know.
Since I've been on this board, I've never known, they've never presented, so I don't know. Yeah.
Mariana, did you have something? You kind of got drowned out.
Oh, it's okay. I was just trying to decipher a couple of the attachments. I was looking for the number about their budget, like their expected budget, and I saw their annual operating budget and then the attachments that came after that. So I was trying to make sure I understood their budget for the year because I'm seeing a number that's 362,000.
Yeah.
In determining what that is versus the 2971 number.
So I think the 2 million part is the program overall. And then the 300 plus is what they're allegedly doing in San Marcos only.
What they said was the direct costs, their after school program.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll discuss the funding later on all these again.
Anything else that struck you about these presentations that was memorable, particularly that you want to bring up?
I really like I don't know if you guys saw the letters for the San Marcos Consolidated ISD. They had like really, I think they had like 4 different letters from a couple of Texas State, then the Community Action, I think, and then a couple other ones. And those letters were actually really nice because it shows that they're actually doing really good for the schools. That's fine. That's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah. Well, there certainly is a need, that's for sure. Because Texas is not stepping up and helping.
A whole other discussion for all other things. Okay. Any other points? Any other questions or anything?
No.
Okay. We got a quick help from Jansen. Okay. So we're gonna move on to action item number 7. How many presentations do we have next week?
We have 4 next week.
4. So if you guys want, we can push item number 7 to next week because we did 5 presentations already and some of them ran long.
Is it the meeting minutes?
Yeah. So for the meeting minutes, you guys want to discuss it now or push it forward to next week?
Discuss what?
The meeting minutes and how we're going to go about doing that.
Is that item number 7 on the agenda?
I'll say I emailed you, Carol. I won't be here next week due to a pre-scheduled medical appointment, but I wondered if you had any more information regarding like the closed captioning for the Zoom calls and accessibility settings.
I don't. I'm sorry. I need to follow up on that because I emailed our communications group because I didn't see anything like we can try to get a transcript through Zoom, but I haven't figured out how to make it work. So I actually need to follow up on that. So I'm sorry, I can do that as well.
Okay, thank you.
So I motion that we move that.
So we have one motion for pushing it back to next week. Do I have a second? Okay.
I second.
So
I second.
We'll go ahead and push item number 7 to next week.
Okay.
Actually, hold on. We gotta vote on it. Sorry.
Oh.
So all those in favor of moving the item number 7, the discussion on the Meeting minutes for next week, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, none. Okay, so we're good. Okay. So item number 8, reports. It is now time to receive updates from board members on activities since last meeting. Any board member have any update for the group? Okay. All right, so we're gonna move on to future agenda items. Board members may provide requests for discussion items for future agenda in accordance with the board's approved bylaws. No further discussion can be held related to the topics proposed until they are posted on a future agenda in accordance with Texas Open Meetings Act. We will, any board member want to request any items for future agendas? Nope. Okay, we're good. Thank you. We're gonna move on to question and answer for press and public. This is the opportunity for press and public to ask questions related to items on the agenda. And staff, Carol, anybody present online, person, or phone?
No.
None? Okay. Item number 9, adjournment. Thank you, everybody, for participating. Do I hear a motion to adjourn the meeting? Yeah, Yancey Devila with motion. Do I have a second?
I second.
Joanne Parsons seconds. All in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Yeah, okay. So we're going to adjourn the meeting at 7:52 p.m. on a Thursday, October 19th. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye, everybody.